Yeah, I don't know what this is. I just felt like pressing play. Steve Aoki made me do it.
Steve Aoki.
Sorry, now I'm drinking my tea, so now I'm all hopped up on cinnamon and apple cider vinegar. He's not kidding, folks. That stuff will put some hair on your chest. My lord. Maybe this is Ask Another episode, because I'm asking him. Maybe I need to turn that down. I find it incredibly interesting to watch in real time how people can affect their own ecosystem by... Sorry, I'm burping. It's very disgusting. Let's get freaky. People can affect their own ecosystem by communicating with their peers in real time. So this thought came to me today because, holy crap, it's the truth, don't you know it? I find it incredibly interesting to watch in real time how people can affect their own ecosystem by communicating with their peers in real time. Essentially, the story I'm telling myself ends in XRP going on stage and making the moon look small, is basically what I'm trying to describe. Because if I were a government and I were in the situation that I know at least one person that works in our government who's got a shit ton of money is thinking what I'm thinking, we are, pardon my French, screwed. That's not French, no, I just didn't want to say it. But these guys have their big boy pants on. They have an idea. They may not know what they're doing, but they know what's going to happen as a result of what's happened. So it's just a matter of when, not if. And maybe I'll get into that later. So I find it incredibly interesting that this is literally like we're watching in real time how we influence, how we vote in our... oh, jeez, these dogs. How we... What? Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, I guess we'll take a selfie. That is ridiculous. Wow. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. Wow. An object in motion tends to stay in motion unless acted upon by an... Oh, Steve, that was your fault. Oh man, that was funny. Sometimes, so I use music to help me think because it keeps my... It's almost like a pentameter, is that what they're called, for playing music? So it like keeps the rhythm of my thinking moving so that I don't get sidetracked and start thinking about things like I'm saying right now. Imagine this going on in your head as you're trying to write something. So that's why these tweets can take up to an hour to write, just so you're aware. but it's fucking hilarious. Because you wouldn't believe me unless I had it recorded. Oh man. Thank you, Steve. Fuck no. Like, I haven't even heard that original song. Let me get a selfie. Oh man, but that is hilarious. Bitch, fuck no. Alright, well, 5 minutes later. Unless acted upon by, wow, an object in motion tends to stay in motion unless acted upon by an equal and opposite force, I think is the quote. And seeing as they can all think as one, comma, they know exactly how hard to pull at what angle for how long, depending on how fast they are. Woo! This is a good one. Thank you, Steve. Wow, an object in motion tends to stay in motion unless acted upon by an equal and opposite force. I think that's Bernoulli. I don't remember. Don't quote me. And seeing as they can all think as one, they know exactly how hard to pull at what angle for how long, depending on how fast they are moving. Smart little guggers. Huggers? No, Brady. Buggers. That's... Seriously? And then Hey, Twitter. If you really want to piss me off, do that again. I dare you. Sorry, sometimes I like... It's weird, but sometimes I like to look... I don't know, I'm a very weird communicator. Let me put it that way. Like my instant reaction, I almost feel like if no one has your instant reaction, they're missing 75% of your reaction. That's actually fucking brilliant. If people don't see your first reaction, they are missing 75% of your reaction. Does that make sense? If people don't see your first reaction, they are missing 75% of your reaction. Period. I think that's what I'm trying to get across. Huh. That's interesting. And I need to be able to talk like he talks. No, what was the other one? I enjoy thinking about my success more than I enjoy living it. That's... I gotta watch this again. That was cool. They did it in fast forward, but... that made me look at it. So maybe they weren't pushing as fast as I thought they were. But I do see how this is very, very, very helpful that, fuck me, man. These guys, I mean, when you watch like weightlifting competitions and things like that, the commentators need to know what they're talking about so that they can tell people, hey, listen, folks, this may look relatively easy, but these humans have gotten so good at doing what they are now doing that if a 2 or 3 degree difference of angle in your push is evident, you win or lose. Like that's how good these people have gotten at pushing things around, in different. I'm not quite sure what I was talking about because I did this yesterday and I forgot that I had paused it. I thought I had stopped it. So now I'm 11 minutes in, 22 seconds, and I'm not sure what the past 11 minutes were about, but I'm assuming it was crypto related. Anyway, that's Sarah. Thank you for that video. Sleeping puppies. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to stop it because I don't know what. I think I just randomly turned it on. If I remember, I didn't have any. I think I was just answering tweets. So maybe that. Maybe that's what I'll do. Right. So let's.
You're going to be spending money on more than diapers. So you should raise your credit scores instantly with Experian Boost.
I am very sorry for that. That was your eardrum if you had headphones on. My sincerest apologies. Give me 1 second. Alright, we are good.
Now, today's video is going to be a lot different. This is about why I think Bitcoin maximalists should love Ripple and XRP. And honestly, if there's any Bitcoin maximalists watching this video, my goal with this video is to get as many Bitcoin maximalists to watch this as possible. Just know, I'm not against you guys. I understand why you like Bitcoin and why you'd be stacking Bitcoin for over the years. It's been a great investment. It's proven itself over the past couple years in terms of price action. It has a really good vision. It's got a pretty big community behind it. It's got a lot of volume. I understand why Bitcoin maximalists would stick with Bitcoin, but I think Bitcoin maximalists, even though you might not want to own XRP, I really would like to change, with this video, would like to change the perception that Bitcoin maximalists have about XRP, because I think there's a lot of misunderstandings, and there's one main one that I'm going to be discussing in today's video. Now, first of all, let's just go over the fact that Satoshi Nakamoto did literally say, Ripple is interesting, and that it's the only other system that does something with trust besides concentrate it onto a central server. Let's just get out of the way, just know that Satoshi Nakamoto did acknowledge Ripple as being decentralized in the past. So, Bitcoin maximalists, when they hear XRP, they're thinking, oh, banking industry. Oh, you guys are helping out the banks. You're promoting the banking industry. You're helping them survive. It's really helping out the banks. But if you really, really think about it and really dive deep into what they're really changing about their business model by leveraging XRP, XRP actually takes control away from the banks. And I think this is what a lot of Bitcoin maximalists may misunderstand. If you're a Bitcoin maximalist watching this, honestly, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Let's just get that away. I'm not hating on you guys. I'm just saying I would really love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Because I think there's a big misunderstanding when it comes to XRP and the banking industry. So if you're a Bitcoin maximalist and you're hearing XRP, you're most likely thinking, oh, that's the coin for the banks. They're helping out the banks. We're Bitcoin maximalists. We don't like the banking industry. And I gotta say, being an XRP investor myself, doesn't mean I like the banks. Guys, honestly, I really don't like using a bank. I would prefer to keep what I have in cash, but again, just in case of any sort of robbery or house breaking down or whatever, stealing, at least the only reason I do keep it in a bank is because it is federally insured. If that wasn't there, I'd honestly be holding it on myself. But really, I just really want to make that point clear, is that as an XRP investor, and I'd like to say XRP maximalist myself, I don't like banks. I don't trust banks. I think, honestly, society would be a lot better if they had less power and were actually smaller. One thing I do agree with Bitcoin is getting away from the banks. I understand that completely. There are so many fraudulent banks out there. I remember watching the documentary on Netflix called Dirty Money, and there was an episode just about HSBC Bank and how they had to pay a $2 billion fine because they were laundering money laundering billions of dollars for essentially drug runners. Like, I understand the reason why Bitcoin maximalists. I get the reason why you guys don't like institutions of banks. I completely 100% understand that. But XRP is not a bank promoter. It doesn't. At the end of the day, it doesn't really help out the banks. It allows them to profit a lot. XRP allows banks to have a lot more profit on the back end and when it comes to the cross-border payment sector. But what you got to realize is that, yeah, at the same time, XRP does allow banks to be more profitable when it comes to cross-border payments. XRP takes control away from the banking industry. And that's one thing I think the Bitcoin maximalists need to realize, that XRP takes control away from the banking industry. Because here's how the current correspondent banking model works. You got your tier 1 banks, that's kind of like the JP Morgan, the HSBC, the Bank of America, the Citibank. You got your tier 1 banks, and all of these guys, they have essentially absolute control over the correspondent banking system and can charge other institutions whatever they feel is necessary to get a transaction through. Now, that's really all you need to know. Everything besides the tier 1 banks is just a beneficiary of the system. Essentially, I mean, we wouldn't really want to call them a beneficiary because a lot of banks do get taken advantage of because of the correspondent banking system because there's simply no other way to send money cross borders. But again, that's when XRP comes into the picture. So you got to keep in mind is that these banks, there's a lot more than JP Morgan, HSBC, Bank of America, and Citibank. There are other tier 1 banks out there that are more, more dominant in certain corridors and certain fiat pairs. But essentially, what you got to realize in the correspondent banking system, you have your tier 1 banks who run the correspondent banking system, and then you got your SMEs who are leveraging the correspondent banking system. And it's funny, you might call them a small enterprise, but you'll have an institution worth a couple of billion dollars, and you have to go to these tier 1 banks to get their money through to another country. So what you got to keep in mind is that these tier 1 banks, the really, really large institutions who hold bulk of the Nostro and Vostro accounts, they are the ones who have absolute control. I mean, absolute control over the correspondent banking system. So now, in this correspondent banking system, obviously, the tier 1 banks, they have higher status.
It's the word I can't always remember is correspondent. I always try and describe how our banking system works to someone, and I can never remember the word corresponding, and it drives me up the wall.
But with the Ripple Nets and through XRP,
I think we have so many games that just...
That's not what I wanted to do.
It brings down these institutions to a level playing field. And it means that if you're a participant in the network, that's all you are. You are just a participant in the network, and you are equal to everybody else. It doesn't matter if you're JP Morgan, it doesn't matter if you're Send Friend and you're only worth like $1 million in terms of the Series B funding rounds and stuff like that. So again, what you really got to understand is that XRP takes control away from the banking system and brings these banks down to a level playing field. So essentially, the reason why I think Bitcoin Maximus should have a little bit more appreciation for XRP is that it actually does take control away from the banks. Instead of these institutions going off and using the correspondent banking model, they use XRP, they get all the financial benefits that come with that. But at the same time,
not that you were really listening to the video, but
participant.
I'm going to pause this and I'll be back.
So I think I may have done it again. Fell into a genius idea, but I think this one might actually have to happen because
I'll tell you about it.
But first, I must set the all-annoying timer for the laundry. Yay! 38 minutes of pure unadulterated YouTube time, I guess. And you can't forget drinking tea. Alright, here's my fan-flipping-tastic idea. It is as follows. So, I just made, I don't really know what to call it, but I just made something that I've been sort of working on for a while as far as emotionally and logistically, if that makes sense. It probably won't. It's a little confusing because I'm starting in the middle of my story. I am currently trying to figure out how I can conduct business anywhere in the world through my cell phone. I want to figure that out. I know it's possible. I know I'm going to do it. I just have to figure out how to do it. So in doing so, I'm just doing whatever comes to mind, whatever comes to my mind that seems like a good logical next step is what I'm doing. I don't know if that's going to lead me to find a way to go to work on my cell phone. I don't know, but I gotta find out somehow. So, trying to make the long story short, or the story I haven't really told you the beginning of, but for the sake of time, I can't really get into it yet, but I think I will eventually. So let me just start with now. A product. I call them tin splats. They are, let me show you. They are these things. I won't get into why I made it or what it is or whatever. I'll just get into the meat and potatoes. So these writings that I read on here, these things, it's okay to take a compliment. Stop worrying about the first thought is often the right one. Don't be afraid of verbal redundancy. Respond to a greeting before giving your own. Having a plan is part of being a man, and I can't read that one. Nothing is good to eat. Snile. Yeah. So these are some sayings that I've picked up, I guess, once I was woke, I guess you could say. I'll use that term to try and get through this explanation, and then I'll explain to you what I mean by woke, if I can remember. So I just made one of these things to go in my pocket, and it looks really cool. I really like it, and I have a sneaking suspicion someone else might want one too. I don't know why. I don't know why I think anyone would want it, other than it's helped me in a very interesting way, and I'm curious if it could help someone else in a very interesting way. So I had one of these doodahs in my pocket for maybe the past 2 years, I think. And on it, it said, on one side, what did it say? Of course, now I'm drawing a blank. Say what you just thought out loud. And then the other side said, no, keep it in your head. It's easier that way. Something to that effect. And this is when I was trying to do just as it said. Say what you just thought out loud. Because I was keeping a lot to myself. I wasn't speaking my mind, and I was not doing myself any favors because I was not advocating for myself, because I wasn't saying out loud what I was thinking. So I thought, all right, I'll flip a coin. So each time I think, oh crap, I really should say that out loud and start the conversation, I don't. When that arises, I then think, or I thought before I made this thing, I thought, all right, I'm going to take it out and flip it like a coin, and whichever one lands up is which one I have to do. So I literally leave it up to chance. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll make it. So I made it. It's cool. It's almost illegible now, even though I wrote it with a Sharpie, but I think something with the resin, I don't know, very weird. So I made that, and now a funny thing happened. Instead of having to take it out and flip the coin, so to speak, or as I had originally thought I was going to do, just the simple fact that I had it in my pocket and it said, what was the one? Say what you just thought out loud. It literally pushed me to say what I was thinking out loud. For the simple fact that it was in my pocket. It was almost like I didn't... It was like I gave myself permission to do it because I let myself take a chance and say, all right, now you're going to have to listen to your coin toss, but there is a chance that you're going to be able to go back to doing what you were doing, not advocating for yourself, or to flip a coin. You see if what you say out loud changes the trajectory of your life. I'm making it up, but you get what I'm saying. So that being said, I wanted basically those that I just showed you are much more cleaner looking than what I had, and because the one that I had from 2 years ago, I had written with I wrote on it with a Sharpie thinking it would last, but it's very weird. It's faded, so it hasn't lasted. So I thought, all right, I need to somehow print on these things. They're made out of tin. Call them tin splats. Holy sweet Ticonderoga. Dude, that's unfortunate. Because that child cannot... His face is... What? That is ridiculous. Peter McCormick, that is ridiculous. Um, yes, so I get sidetracked so easily. Um, yeah, I think someone else might want it. So basically, what I want to do is give 100 away for free. I don't know if my product is working. Like I just made a resin one tonight with, or I made a I cast another one tonight in a different kind of resin. It cured with UV, whereas the other resin just cured with time. That one turned yellow. Not a fan. So now I made a new one, and it's very impressive, nice and clean, clear, almost smudge proof. It's like glass. I mean, it's flipping awesome. That's kind of why I'm excited that I just thought of this idea tonight. So 100 for free, and then start charging $5. And then I don't know if it's going to be monthly or bi-monthly or whatever monthly or 2, 3, 4 months. Raise it by $1. Just keep raising it by $1. Raise it by $1. Raise it by $1. Or raise it by $1.50 or 50. I don't know quite how I'm going to do it, but I basically want to be able to I want to be able to make them, or I want to have so many orders that I need to buy the laser machine that I would need to use to write on these things that I'm paying someone else to do. I hope that makes sense, because that's that's the run-on sentence that came out of my head. Excuse me. So once I buy the laser, I will literally, like, I have so many flipping ideas about this thing. Like, I've been thinking about it for about 2 years or so, of purely what would I like to do with this, not what did I think was profitable or what I think someone else would want to buy or whatever. I just thought, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be so cool if I could take one of those clear blotters that nail artists use on Instagram to transfer paint from your palette, whatever those things are called, onto your nail. Like, I could almost be silk screening like, holy cow, I could do so much with that. It blows my mind. And as soon as I saw that, I started thinking. So I want to be able to make ridiculously intricate, intense, mind-blowing sceneries, which I actually might be able... Oh, man. That might be interesting. See, I think I could do... Because I'm not really good at drawing, but if I could take a picture and separate it into 3 or 4 different colors or layers, I can then put scenes, holy crap, in addition to sayings. See, now that will be fun. And that's where I think having this price increase, I think that, I don't know, I just think there's something there, that something valuable that, I don't know, I took this art course, business art course, and something the teacher said at one point, hello to Anne Ray, something she said made me think about, oh, it was about pricing artwork. And I'm a sculptor, so I like to work with my hands and build weird things. So I was trying to figure out, one of the examples she gave of her students, or of someone saying, yeah, they set their price increase like on a yearly basis. So they say, at this time it's going to go up by this much, or these size paintings. So she's like, or you could price your work like that. And I was thinking, wow, what a great idea. It's totally open. This is my price for everyone. This size canvas or this size sculpture, whatever it is, and it goes up to this price at this time. Like that's how art should be. Because I think this, I have a very weird relationship with art. I do it, and yet I criticize the crap out of it. It's very bizarre. Anyway, so my idea is to make these things and ship them out to people and hopefully have a helping hand in getting them to hold themselves accountable. That's where my idea was going. Thank you. I finally thought of it. So basically, each one that I make, I'm going to either trying to get some information from it, or trying to get some context from the person so I can kind of give their little story and say, hey, this is, John. He's trying to, maybe I'll just go to this. This is John. He's trying to work on doing the laundry more often. Whatever it is that whatever he's struggling with that he needs this thing for, that I'm going to soon figure out what a name is, whatever he needs that for, that's the story I tell after I make it, or while I make it, or whatever it is, you're going to see it, bam. And I think that will be a very interesting way to A, meet people, B, touch them in a meaningful way that hopefully improves their life, and 3, just like a fucking genius idea. Like, just a good, genuine thing to do. Like, I don't see how I could ever get sick of doing that. Like, that doesn't, like that, I think to me, that's what would make me the happiest. If I could talk to someone, hear about their, shitty day at work, or, pardon my language, but grown-up stuff, hear about it. And to be that voice of accountability, or that voice of yourself. Because it's like, when I hear friends of mine talk to me about their work days, it's like they go on about the good things and they go on about the bad things. And the more you hear, the more you understand, the better you paint a picture of what's actually going on, and you kind of put things together and you're like, wait a minute. And you say right to their face, because they've been telling you this. You say, over here you say this, and then over here you contradict yourself. And you do something. So like you can literally call them out on their own shit and try and hold them accountable. And I think making little discs, making these little things where, whatever it was, something that was said, whatever reminds you of that moment, is written down and you have it. Something like that, or like what I did was flipping the coin. I'm not quite sure, because this engraver's a laser, I'm not quite sure how it can do. It's basically hard to calibrate it so you can print on one side without going through to the other side, so that you can print on the other side and not go through to the front. So it's kind of a tricky endeavor, but I think I might need to do that when I have my own laser engraver, because I'm sure that's like literally I'm just going to burn up this tin on testing things. Anyway, that's the part I'm excited for. So I think, oh, and here's a question that, actually I should write this down, because yesterday when I did this, it really worked that I was able to refer back to my notes to write things down. What was I going to say? Crap. Oh, Gary V question, for any of you that follow him. I'm trying to figure out which account to use where for what. And it's kind of confusing, and I don't blame you because it doesn't make any sense. But long story short, I have 2 Twitter accounts, 1 Instagram. And I'm trying to figure out, so I'm into this crypto asset Bitcoin thing, as it is obvious, because that's all I talk about. But I'm also into, as this shows, there was Anne. Where am I trying to go here? I guess this thing I'm trying to describe right now. it's like those two things are very important to me, and they are linked for reasons I may or may not get into if I get this far. But do I separate them? Do I keep them together? How do I have them under the same umbrella? Like, I don't. I'm trying to figure out. Do I need? In what way do I use this page differently from this page? I don't know. Like, that's a question. So what would that question be in a tweet? There we go. If I started 2 accounts on Twitter, which one should be my brands? If I started 2 accounts for 2, it's very interesting. My brain needs to be kept distracted with music, slowed down by writing, because I think too fast to get it out any other way. It's like, because I'm writing and I have to force myself to get back on track, to focus, to reread the thing, to try and figure out I don't know how to describe it, but a very weird process. If I started 2 accounts for 2 interests on Twitter, which one should be my brands? It's a hard question that I'm trying to figure out how to ask, but maybe that will help me do so. 37 minutes. Great. Yeah, so that's my tin splat idea. And I'm not sure. Oh, I guess this will turn into the Gary V and Crypto Show. Call on me. Follow me. One of those two. Let's see where we are with Mr. Cobb. Oh, that's right. Because this is where I left off. I'll give you all a break.
That's why, if you're wondering why it makes you XRP right now, well, it's like going.
Whoa. Wow, I really am interested in hearing this song. Maybe not right now. Sorry, Mr. Cobb.
You want to use a different solution that's going to make you more money but bring you on a level playing field?
Hold on 1 second. I'll pause it for you. Ooh, sorry about that, folks.
You see what I mean? So XRP does take control away from the banks because it brings them down to a level playing field. And if we have the masses of institutions in the world all just tapping into the
Another thing that I don't think anyone knows or cares, but I'm not going to stop saying it because it's the freaking best thing in the world. If what I think is going to happen with, I'll say, crypto, digital assets, Bitcoin, blockchain, and digital value, period, like all of those things all at once, all in one word, the way I see that happening is governments having to, as the modern investor says, bend the knee to this new asset class, because it's literally going to make their jobs at governance a lot harder to do the same way they've been doing them and less profitable because their laundry is going to be out to dry 90% of the time. Or the direction that we're going in with these digital assets and using them for governance and voting and everything else, because we don't need to trust anyone, we just need to have our identity. They literally are out of a job. And so I see this come to Jesus moment. I don't know if that's appropriate or not, but I see the government bending the knee because they know they really have no other option. And whether it was, conversation someone had with them, or if they figured it out themselves, or if they feel like members of the younger generation are calling them out on it, whatever it is, they are waking up to the fact that their days in their current positions are numbered. And there are only a few different ways that enable them to crash land their plane as smoothly as possible so they don't lose literally their heads. And as I've been listening to Digital Nomad Investor, I like to listen to him because he's very... Hold on a second.
So this might be a little bit off topic, but I want to see if this works. This might be an entertaining way of doing this. Basically, if the audio comes through, then this will be an alternative to, I guess, sitting in my apartment and doing this. Dang, it's cold outside. So I think what I'm going to do is have to subject you to a few more minutes, if you can't hear this, to what I'm doing. Or maybe it's an external mic and it's only catching the sounds. But I'm at my destination, so I'll be interested to see if this works. See ya. So now I want to see if what I did one direction is not going to work in the other direction. So this one is definitely probably going to work because it's no headphones in. The one I did a few minutes ago, headphones in. And so I guess I'll say what I said in the last time I did it. If it didn't work, I'm interested to see if this style, format, whatever it's called, will work or not. Whether it works for me or anyone watching it, or however it maybe might not could work. I'm interested in finding out if it's a good idea or not. Because I find a lot of, a lot of the time that I have in order to do stuff like this is few and far between, and it's mostly when I'm walking. So I thought, it's probably slightly more interesting than a screen, but we'll see. We shall see. And I could do like a, go back to here. Alright. And I guess that's how I could record a video. Interesting. I think I'm gonna like rewatching this one. Alright. I guess I could talk about something. So I would do it with, so I want to figure out if my headphones work, because then I can listen, well no, crap. I can't listen to the headphones while also recording the sound. How do I figure out how to do that? That would be nice. So I guess I'll be back. Bye. So, as I was recording this, I remembered, oh, that's right.
I was already, or as I was doing this, I remembered I already had something recorded. I think I'm just going to end it now and post it, even though it's not really what I wanted to do, but I have to get to sleep. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Peace.